hosted by the Bridges of Hope International Development Agencies. My name is Thomas James Arelis Carpenter, and today we're going to talk about lobsters' longevity. Have you ever heard that a lobster can live forever? Lobsters aren't invincible or anything crazy like that, but they do have some interesting abilities. Lobsters start off much like any other forms of marine life, in an egg. But then they grow, and grow, and grow, and grow, and grow, and grow. In fact, they never technically stop growing, and they don't experience any adverse effects in terms of strength or speed from these growths. Can you imagine if you got physically larger in every way the older you got? Well, you probably can, as we all experience growth through our lives and then arrived at this point. But lobsters never stop growing. Metaphorically speaking, we need to be spiritual lobsters with incessant growth. This doesn't really bother a lobster much when it's small and soft and squishy, as it can easily expand. However, lobsters don't stay soft and squishy for very long. Shells harden, tough claws capable of severing your finger appear, and that's basically so they can fight against the world. But they keep growing, and it starts to get kind of uncomfortable. Their insides get pressed tightly against the rigid exterior. This is not dissimilar to when we encounter unpleasant times in our lives. As is the cycle, through great suffering, a rebirth must be achieved. There is no alternative. Bursting forth through the lifeless shell which protects you is the only way to grow. So, aside from being eaten, there's almost no actual cause of death for a lobster. However, perhaps one of the most dangerous times for a lobster is when it's time to shed its exoskeleton. During the molting process, this is an extremely stressful situation, where the body is literally ripping itself apart. Sometimes the lobsters simply lose the will to live and to grow, and about 10 to 15% of the lobsters who begin the molting process don't finish and die. As with the lobster, we must keep trying, and we must realize that even in the most stressful of situations, this time in your life is simply, metaphorically, molting. This too will pass if you persevere, but persistence isn't always pleasant. Then when it's over, suddenly you've been born again and a new, soft, squishy lobster. You don't actually have any claws, you don't have any pain or stress, just a carefree lobster. So back into the world you go, and you realize the world is still kind of dangerous, so you begin to harden yourself again. Now, you're set to take on the world and everything in it, but the shell is again getting too small, and you're getting uncomfortable. The exoskeleton, so to speak, at the Bridges of Hope isn't big enough for us anymore, and we need some help to expand. Bridges of Hope does fantastic work around the world with countless individuals, and we want to continue to make that possible. We've been growing for years successfully, but it's time for a major molting process to occur, and we need your help to do it. To fully realize our dreams at the Bridges of Hope, we need to communicate new forms of incentive and help motivation to keep others growing. We want to help foster business investment with your help, which will be the key to self-sustainability. But we need some major investment to make this dream a reality. It may be a little unpleasant, but we need to shed our shell and emerge born new once again, as we need to help others do the same. Please, if you can give any type of a donation to the Bridges of Hope, we can continue to work around the world, spreading this new connection, growth, and prosperity to everybody. Thank you for your time. My name is Thomas James Arelis Carpenter, and I will see you again.